edition of WWL Tonight, starring two-time World Series champ and the player with the most home runs in the league's history, Alex Thompson, and the one-time MVP, Cy Young, and two-time Gold Glove winner, Max Thompson. And I am so glad to bring you another edition of WWL Tonight. And we have a great segment. We have great segments to give you guys tonight. We have the call-in segment, everyone's favorite. Got that one from LLW, Wiffle Ball. Shout out to them. Off-season moves, and then comments about teams and prediction award winners. We're just going to predict about who do you think we're going to win. Like, who do you think is going to win, like, awards and stuff. Then we're going to talk about the new stuff coming to the league in 2022, which is this year. Have our World Series prediction. Alright, so let's get to the call-in segment.
Oh,
and
boy.
Alex, who are we going to call today?
Oh, we got a doozy, folks. We got Cole Payne on the line. We're going to call him. He has no idea we're calling him. That's how this segment works, if you guys don't know. We're going to call Cole, and we're going to ask him some questions. We have our questions planned. Some good questions, some funny questions, some serious questions. It's going to be a good time. Let's get right into it.
Hello.
This is Alex Thompson and Max Thompson. You are live on WWL Tonight, a new edition. And we are going to ask you some questions about the upcoming season and stuff like that. So let's get right into it.
Alright.
What's your confidence level on a scale from 1 to 10 going into the season?
Solid 9.5.
Alright, he's very confident, folks. Another question. How do you feel about your new players that you got? You know, you got Chase Karen and Lucas Rutherford. How do you feel about those moves overall?
We'll have a lot better hitting lineup this year, and we got 2 more pitchers.
Yes, I agree. Those are some great moves, and your team's going to be, I think, much improved from last year. All right, another question. How do you feel about being in the Class D Maine High School basketball tournament?
Well, we're winning this round tomorrow, bro.
All right, I'll be there. We'll be in attendance.
We'll be in attendance.
It'll be very exciting to watch. Yes, we will be. And the final question: why did you come up with the name the Coastal Cheese? What was the story behind that? Any story?
Hey man, look, cheese is good. Nothing bad can come from cheese, man.
I guess so. We'll see if that works out for you next year, and hopefully you guys have a great season. Thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
All right. See you later.
See ya.
Yep. So, folks, that was Cole Payne, and some good answers there. Max, what do you think about his answers?
I think they were pretty accurate to real life. I think he made some great moves in the offseason, picking up 2 really good baseball players that will help out his team to a good amount.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of off-season moves, we're going to get right into that with our next segment, off-season moves.
The next segment, off-season moves.
And folks, if the camera looks different, we had to refilm everything. The new camera was having a malfunction, so this is picking up about a week from when we filmed it. So we're picking this up, and we're going to try to finish strong, better than last time.
All right, we're going to start off with the Pacific Panthers, and they made a couple moves, minor moves, as I should say, picking up Caden Karam from Coastal Cheese and adding Xander Pike. He'll be getting into his first season in this league. And Alex, what do you have to say about the moves that you made?
You know, I didn't want to change too much. I know we had a lot of chemistry last year. I kind of wanted to keep that, but I also wanted to add some players who bring some morale. Because I feel like, I mean, we got each other up, but I feel like we could use more of that. And also, I just needed some depth because we didn't have a lot of people at games at the end of the season. So hopefully this year is going to be different. Now that we have a 6-man roster, hopefully there will be less times where we have to play with 2 people. This year it's really key that we want to have as many people on the field as possible. So that's kind of the story behind these moves.
Yeah, I'm liking the roster here. You kept everybody from the World Series team. You added 2 new players. I think this is looking like a solid team. All right. So, Panthers were 12-4 last year. Won the World Series. They had a terrific season. With Preston Karam winning MVP. Had a great season with 5.49 batting average, 15 home runs, 43 RBIs. The lowest ERA with 4.57 ERA, 47 Ks, 47 walks. There's definitely a lot that he can improve on going into next year.
But yeah, he's a great player.
He's a great player, and he has a great supporting cast to go along with him. And I'm excited to see what the Pacific Panthers can bring in 2022. And now let's go to the Atlantic Aviators, where last year went 500, 9-9. World Series, we lost 4 games. 3 games were close, but the last game we kind of gave up on that one. It's a bad start early, and we just didn't really care.
And because of that, you can see on their roster, there's been a couple big moves and a couple minor changes. One of those being
so we changed our name to the Atlantic Aviators.
was the downtown.
I don't think people liked the name the Downtown Ducks that much, so we wanted to make an exciting new team mascot and just change things up a little bit. And for trades, we traded Lucas Rutherford to Coastal Cheese, and we got Garrett King back. I think this was a pretty good move for us. I think we just needed someone who can get on base. We struggled in that department in the World Series, and Garrett, I hope, is going to help us out getting on base and all, and hitting some home runs in 2022. And I think we have a very good roster.
Yeah, I mean, when I look down the squad, I see a lot of capable players. I mean, you got Garrett King, as we just mentioned. Last year, he had a 5.17 batting average, 8 home runs. 30 RBIs. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's a pretty good year. But I don't think he's a great. I don't know if he's a great pitcher though. I mean, 13 ERA, 2 Ks, and only 9 walks. Definitely. I mean, maybe give him some more time. But I don't know if he's going to be one of your main pitchers.
Yeah, I don't think he'll see a lot of time on the mound this year. If we have a big lead, we might throw him in there. But I think all around our pitching depth is one of the best in the league. We got Harrison who can throw strikes. He can be a lone actor sometimes, but we saw late in the season, especially in the World Series in Game 1, that he could handle a very tough batting lineup in the Pacific Panthers. And I think we'll see him progress in the 2022 season.
I like what I saw, and once again he improves, and he could have honestly won most improved this year. He had a strong case, one of the contenders for this award. Him and Alex Thompson and Braden could have won this award. But Braden won it. But I really think Harrison this year, he could take a big jump if he works on his pitching. I think that's going to be key for him. I mean, his batting stats aren't that bad. Kind of a low average for our league. I mean, 312 is a good average, but for our league, I mean, people are usually hitting like 400.
Parker Neal, he had some flashes of brilliance on the mound, and we might get him on the mound a few more times than we did last year. I think he's shown that he can be pretty good on the mound for us.
Yep. And yeah, in the postseason we saw him start to hit for power a little bit. I think he hit 2 home runs in 1 game. Yeah. So he had a strong start to the postseason. Unfortunately, the playoffs, his hitting was not as good, but I think, you know what, I think next year he's going to have a great season.
All right, so the Coastal Cheese last year didn't go the way they wanted to. 3-11. Cole Payne,
including the postseason.
Managing a new team with some players that were definitely having subpar seasons.
It was a rough first year for Cole, but as with any team, it's going to be a struggle in year 1.
I gotta say, Cole didn't have the best season, but it was better than some players in our league. He had a 2.45 batting average, 2 home runs, 13 RBIs, 6.89 ERA, 17 Ks, and 40 walks.
His pitching, I feel like, was better than last year, but I feel like he still has a little bit of an accuracy issue, but when he pitches strikes, he is a Cy Young candidate in this league, and you saw that in the opening day series. He was pretty good out there. And I look down this roster, this team is completely different. I mean, besides, keeping Parker Hunter, everybody else on this roster is a new face, and I think that's kind of a good thing because I don't think the chemistry for them was clicking last year.
Yeah, they didn't really find the lineup that worked for them.
But now you got two young players who are new to wiffle ball coming in, who are good baseball players. And
Yeah.
This Rutherford from downtown Ducks last year, he had a great second half. He played only 3 series, but he played 2 regular season series, and he came out with a 706 batting average, 6 home runs, 18 RBIs, a 9 ERA, 2 Ks, and 7 walks. Those are great stats for only 2 series. That's 4 games. I think he did a great job. Another Rookie of the Year contender this year would be Caden Karam, who's also considered a rookie because he didn't join the league.
I don't know if he'll see that many playing time, but he might get in there. Alex Thompson might bring him off the bench. If they have like more than 1 run lead or something like that.
His stats are not really too bad.
450 batting average. And this is not a full season. If he keeps going like this for a full season, you can see Rookie of the Year on his squad.
You saw some sparks of excellence. But back to the Chiefs. Parker Hunter also had a pretty solid year, an underrated year to say the least.
If you saw the preseason video, he looked phenomenal on the hitting side. I mean, Garrett was pitching.
Granted, it was Garrett King, but pitcher.
Still, an impressive performance in the February video, and I gotta say, he's definitely one of the better players on our
Could
team.
be most improved contender.
Yeah, to make Humber appeared in the wild card series, 2 strikeouts for him, but hopefully he can show up to more games, and hopefully he'll make an impact.
I'd like to see him come to some more games. I mean, we didn't see him at all until the postseason, and in the 2 at-bats he had, didn't put up much of a fight. It was a tough time to come in, in a big spot like that.
Especially me on the mound.
Yeah. Also, you also look down the roster, and they have a new player that they just recently picked up, and that is Chase Karen, who's he could be a big-time Rookie of the Year.
I'm excited about this move for the Coastal Chiefs because now they have just added a weapon offensively to the lineup. Chase Karen, he can hit home runs in baseball. Let's see if he can hit multiple home runs in wiffle ball and absolutely carry the load for the Chiefs.
I think if he's on, he's going to be a big piece for this team, and I think Cole's going to gladly have him along. I think if he performs like he does in baseball, he's going to have a great season. Hopefully, pitching-wise, he can figure out how to throw the wiffle ball in a good way. But I think Cole expects big things from him, and he could be the number 2 arm for this team that they're missing. And so that's our roster's evaluation here. And anything that you want to get to that we might not have talked about?
Honestly, I gotta say that this has been the offseason moves the most in the league's history by far, and I think it's been the most chaotic offseason. We've had 1 player retire. First time in the league's history. Lucas Smith. He was very good in the league while he was on the field. Very solid at the plate. And we wish him well on his journey. Whatever he does, hopefully he makes an impact somewhere.